How to know if your soul is Jedi. Jedi is an uber awareness of the Force. Do you believe in the Force? Unconditionally and with all your heart and soul? Do you believe that with your Jedi skills you could change the world? So for whom do you fight? Because your degree of Jedi mastery depends entirely upon how well you condition your physical mind to manifest results for the force of good or for the force of the dark side. So are you still Jedi, or have you been turned to the dark side? If you are true to Jedi, then you fight for the antithesis of evil. You resist the dark side because you know your soul is real, and you know that it does matter in another realm beyond this planet. So have you ever wondered if your soul is Jedi? I mean, if you haven't, then why continue? This will mean nothing to you, so move along. There is a point to all this. Has anything alerted your Jedi senses? Do you feel a disturbance, or was this just a great football game to you? If it was, then you're probably not Jedi. But, good news, you'd make a great Stormtrooper. See, in my timeline, we don't have a 10th planet. I was able to only uncover this 14-year-old news article by accident. And this dead planet, well, it didn't make that much attention to anyone, but 14 years later, it's closer to us, and it's within range.
The Neo came into proximity around the date foretold by the Mayans in their 2012 calendar, although we were off by about 2.5 years. Thanks to the calendar adjustment, Julius Caesar began in 65 BC. Adjusting for a lost day every 4 years adds up to about 2.5 years. And indeed, in the summer of 2014, Neo became visible to anyone looking for it. The problem is, no one was looking for it. Since few of us outside of a palm reader or psychics or others we've labeled wacky would even know what the starry night reveals normally, then who in the general population would know what a Neo even is? It's been coming right at us for 12,000 years. It's what the Stonehenge alignment, the pyramids alignment, and the alignment of most of the other monolithic sites across the globe have warned us of. And still, we never imagined anything so preposterous.
I mean, has anything odd been happening? Have you experienced the Mandela effect, DeJaVu, domed Earth, flat Earth? Any of these anomalies? DeJaVu and the Mandela effect. They're just time distortions of the Force. And that is something only a Jedi could sense. It shouldn't matter that there's two different timelines. What should matter is that we're picking up on two different timelines. That's the definition of parallel worlds anyway. That's just how it works. The fact that we're able to see this distortion in time, that should be, alerting your spidey senses? Neither argument is more right than the other. The fact that there is a rift at all, that should be the largest indicator of what's going on. Because if you can sense them, then you're uber aware of two timelines simultaneously, and you would make an excellent Jedi. And the really important thing is that time distortions mean our timeline is being altered. So yes, time travel is possible, and someone has gone back in time on this planet. But don't be distracted by time distortions. See them for what they are. They're a disturbance in the Force. Evil is once again taking shape on this planet. Call it what you want. Darth, Lucifer, evil, Sith. The forces of darkness are the same, no matter what religion. You see, the reality is humans have a mortal foe who is enslaving our bodies, drugging our minds, and using our souls like a Trojan horse to quash the ideals of human rights and freedom, ensuring domination of the human species by the darkest force ever known. How have we missed it? We have been purposefully dumbed down and our timeline changed just so that we don't form this rebel alliance. Our human population is about to be culled and we're not even aware of the signs. Not because we don't believe, but because we've been denied the information. We must be more awake than this if we are to form this rebel alliance and save the human race, because we have less than 6 years. So how did you miss it? Well, you've been medically hypnotized, induced into a paralytic perpetual continuation of the status quo. You are dulled down and docile. How? It starts with all 5 senses have been compromised. Touch, taste, sound, smell, sight. Don't believe me? Well, touch is our skin, and that's our largest organ. We bathe in poisons every day, every time we shower. They were put there by our own government starting in 1945. The next sense to be compromised by the government is taste. All you have to do is think about the FDA's approval of genetically modified organisms, cloned meat, aspartame. I could go on, but you get the point. The third sense to be compromised by our government is smell. Chemtrails. We're inhaling dispersed aerosol poisons that are placed there, supposedly, by our government. And thanks to the FCC, or the Federal Communication Commission, our signal broadcast has been switched from analog to digital. That's 4 out of 5 of our senses, all of which are government controlled. The last remaining sense is sight. I couldn't see a connection either until I heard about a company named Luxottica. Notice the Egyptian sounding word Luxottica? Turns out Luxottica makes over 70% of all eyeglasses globally. That's sunglasses, prescription glasses, novelty glasses. Remember Ray-Bans?
For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice.
You see, our government has been infiltrated in a bloodless coup. It's formally called a coup d'etat, and shortly after World War II, the master plan was enacted. The USA, for all intents and purposes, has been taken over from the inside by a monolithic conspiracy. It's a bloodless coup only because we're not aware we're being overthrown, so no one's resisting. The resistance? It hasn't started yet. We've got to start to learn the ways of the Force and apply them here and now, because if we don't recognize the Force for what it is, we'll never have a chance at fighting the evil side of it. See, you can be Jedi and still be a slave, but what is sad would be to be a slave and not recognize that you're really Jedi, or that you're a protector of the force of good, or that you're here just to overthrow the evil Pharaoh government, which has, yes, once again reared its ugly reptilian serpent head again. Your awareness of the Force actually began long ago, when you were a child, and you first saw the movie. You identified with it. You knew. Something inside told you. And since you understand time travel, then you already understand how the movie happened in your past. And you also understand why that movie in particular has been so altered by this Mandela effect. Are you sure you're Jedi enough? Would you train your body to become a better Jedi? Would you recognize Sith? Would you recognize the dark side? What I'm about to tell you will be the equivalent of the secret blueprints to that plan. Your goal is to help get this message safely and to disseminate it accordingly so that our rebel alliance can begin. I'm going to tell you why humans are thought of as squatters on this planet by the Vril reptilians. Yes, they have a name. Oddly, like we call them reptiles, lizards, they call our species the monkey men of God because of the RH blood factor and because they recognize who God actually is. Well, it's a good thing the serpent race of the Vril from the Draco constellation are not related to the Lucifer, the serpent. There's no common evil there, right? Oh, that's right. These are Luciferian reptile lizards from outer space. So, how the hell do they know about Lucifer and our God? These are aliens. And they hate us. Why? You actually already know the answer, but you have amnesia. As soon as I remind you, your brain will wake up. Are you ready for the download of information? Reconcile that all the dinosaurs were destroyed by our God in the biblical flood. It was like drowning their nursery planet of giant lizards. The Vril are bent on destroying humans for that. And worse, they claim that they were here first and we're the squatters. And then, to make matters worse, we kick them off the planet. So, you know what? They don't mind watching us destroy ourselves. Take a look at these 12,000-year-old stones. Someone was trying to leave the planet. And this evidence has been suppressed and hidden from you. They've known about it since the 1960s. We were all here at the same time. We walked together. The Vril left the planet to the humans. They didn't think we would survive without technology, but we did. What you need to be aware of is we weren't just here at the same time with them, which we're not squatters then by default. What's more important is we're the same size as they are. Look at the statue. We're hugging a dinosaur. Look at the footprint. The evidence is clear. Still don't see the connection? It's okay. Remember, we've been dumbed down. Take me to your leader. And if they already are the leader, and they've been secretly taking over our Fed and our government, if that's true, they already have our money, they already have our military, they're having our minds, our bodies, and they're working on our souls. The last remaining piece would be the soldiers to arrive to enforce it. Well, it's a good thing they haven't amassed a huge army on that 10th planet that's coming back round just close enough to launch an invasion. But there's still a piece missing. A missing link to our God and Lucifer. How, when, and why. And I'm about to tell you how it all comes together. You see, the Vril are complicit with the force of darkness, specifically who we call Lucifer. It's the same thing. Sith, Lucifer, their entire history is based on a lie told here on our planet. That lie's the original lie, and it has to do with Adam and Eve and the child named Cain. Cain is not a child of Adam and Eve. It has been said that fruit was never an apple, but it was indeed a seed, and she did partake of the tree of knowing. Remember the infamous day in the Garden of Eden? Eve was raped by a serpent. She definitely knew the serpent in the biblical sense, if you know what I mean. You see, the serpent was a shapeshifter, and he probably appeared unto Eve and looked just like her husband Adam. But he wasn't. Cain, you know, the one who killed his brother? He was the son of Lucifer on earth. His line wasn't totally wiped out in the great flood of Noah. Remember those who were going off planet? Well, guess who they were? After raping Eve, Saddam and Lilith got together. They had children, and guess where they went 12,000 years ago? Well, some went underground. That's probably where we got the notions of hell from. And some went to that little Nibiru planet that's coming back into orbit now, 12,000 years later. Technically, the Vril are past half-brothers, because Cain would technically be Vril. And the shape-shifting myths, they're based on the chameleon shrieker in lizards. Their skin has the ability to change the amount of melanin at will, and their shadows or contours can change their entire appearance. This is what the Mayans were warning us about. The 10th planet is within eyesight. Now. Well, now that we're past the actualization that the real reptilian aliens from another world exist, and that they are indeed our mortal enemies here to destroy us once and for all, you need to understand why their dedication to the force of darkness is so pure. Why is it so strong? There's a reason they believe they're fighting for the power of good in their eyes, and what they think is good. They've been ill-informed, and so have we. And it's all been because of one lie told here on this planet. Alright, here's the kicker. To the Vril, Lucifer is their supreme god. They believe with all their might, they fight for the one and only truly supreme creator god. To them, that's not our god. Our god murdered their nursery planet. They believe the Earth, formerly called Atlantis, belongs to them by birthright because dinosaurs were here before man, and we're the one that told them that. We're the dumbasses doing it. If we would tell them that we were here at the same time, like that picture I showed you. Right now they think killing or eating a human is their holy right. You know the cattle mutilations? Cattle is just another word for steak, and cauterization is just another word for portable barbecue on the go. But anyway, they believe they were forced to leave this planet, and they want it back, now that it's getting all warm again, because you see, that's perfect for a lizard. So how did we miss it? Didn't I tell you that you're chemically sedated, medically castrated, and genetically modified for the purpose of transhumanism and the creation of a better soldier? You're on your way to becoming a Stormtrooper. In the interface to your matrix, you are helping to design for your slave owners. So why? Because you're in the last generation of Foundation preparation. This is an efforted plan of Agenda 2030. It's to take over the planet, to destroy your soul, and remove your attachment to your physical body by uploading your consciousness to the neural net. Without a body, you won't need a planet, will you? Do not upload your consciousness. It's a trick. So you wonder, how can they steal a soul? Well, after you upload your conscience, you won't need your body. And neither will your soul. And your soul will leave your body because it will think your conscience has died. You will be soulless and unhuman. You'll be a zombie looking for a soul. And you already know that our government has a contingency plan for the zombie apocalypse. This is why. Put it all together now. Perhaps they've never left, but the nefarious dark force is once again trying to enslave the Hebrew race here in America, and they are infiltrating our entertainment industry too. That is where entrainment and MK Ultra and the digital broadcast conversion all tie together. They have tried to dumb us down, Gentile and Hebrew alike, and we are fed fake news stories so that we are so confused we bicker among ourselves. It's the same Pharaoh, aka Fed, wealth elitists. They control our government, and the earth has been plagued with them since the days of Moses. They are on this 10th planet, and they are starting to arrive. The very music we love is carrying a signal to entrain us. You must take the time to look up the term entrainment. Then you will realize, through our own government, programs like MK Ultra and its VLF, UHF, VHF broadcast signals have been compromised. These are orchestrated and financed by the Fed. The switch from analog to digital was to assist in their holographic, shape-shifting illusion while they're here, and until the rest can get here. It's called digital urban camouflage. The artists themselves tell us that they've contracted with Satan so that they become famous. Ask Bob Dylan. Look at Miley Cyrus's eyes when they turn reptilian. There is still time to strengthen your soul. There's still time to strengthen your force and your community before they get here. But once Nibiru is within range, the invasion begins. So knowledge is power, and there's much strength in knowledge. So wake up your body and wake up your mind. Train to protect your soul. Know your enemy. Identify the enemy. Plan now. Learn now. I have much, much more to tell you. And who is my enemy? That'd be the force of the dark side, also known as Sith, Satan, Darth, Lucifer. They are all the same forces of darkness. For you know the purpose of a soul is only used by good or evil. No other force cares about your mortal soul. You know, it's funny that no one questions the existence of evil. Just look around. Evil is everywhere. And it's just that easy to find proof of God. We're just so dumbed down that we overlook the very basic things. So, what is your soul? Do you think it's just an emotion that gets the better of us? Well, there's no need to believe you have a soul unless you believe in the Force, because your soul is the Force itself. You know Jedis without a soul have already succumbed to the dark side. See, a Jedi will understand that the Force for good, it far transcends the identity of some designer label religion. And your religion has no designer label either. So are you awake yet? Is there steps you can take to help your body wake from the medically induced coma you're in? But you have to want to do them. No one's going to make you wake up and take up arms to fight against the force of darkness unless you want to do them. First step, week 1, drink coconut water instead of water. Just substitute it for a week. Try it. Then watch this video again. If you perceive a slight difference between the before and after, then you'll know it's working. Do this rehydration procedure. You know it won't replace all of the water you consume, but it's going to help flush enough out of your system so that you can take the next step to wake yourself up. Unfortunately, the side effect of fluoride is that it's a great flux capacitor. And just like any capacitor, it regulates the flow of electricity, like the flow of information, enhanced or blocked, on or off. Well, whatever minerals contained in the Neo, which is increasing your Jedi powers, they're being blocked by the very same flux capacitor phenomenon. You need to flush as much of that flux capacitor residual from your body as you can so you can more easily sense the Force. The dark side would love to never have a Rebel Alliance begin in the first place. Well, you can't make coffee with coconut water, and you can't shower in coconut water, so at least hydrate your brain with some non-fluoridated coconut water. There's many ways to do this. Stop drinking fluoridated water. Stop drinking colas. Limit the poisons that you're ingesting, and you're ingesting them on purpose. We're drowning in rat poison fed to concentration camp prisoners for the same reason it's being added to our public water supply. Our children's children will be born sterile, docile, and with an average IQ far less than those who were born 100 years prior. You must start to hydrate your body and your brain, and you must ensure your children are being hydrated. We're practically pickling our brain in aspartame. If you drink any kind of cola, stop it. Don't take one more sip of something which can disintegrate battery acid. You're poisoning yourself, and you know you are. But you're trained to want the elixir. You know the chemicals, you've seen the videos about its effects, and there you are buying another cola to help you get through your slave day existence so that you can pay your mortgage on time, so that you can get to work on time. You aren't addicted because you want to be addicted. It's part of the process. It's called programming. You're supposed to be addicted. It's their intention that you be addicted, and it's working. Sales are doing great. Start your own stockpile, not of gold, gas, or guns, but of chocolate, coffee, and clean water. Think about what will be suspended, like trash service, mail service, internet that's satellite delivered. Think about what the real needs of your community will be. They'll be exactly what I'm outlining. You must friend your neighbor on your street, not just your neighbor in the next state. Form a small group of 5. Decide which foods each will plant. Decide a plan of action for your neighborhood like you do a fire escape route for your family. But you're turning defensive instead of offensive. See, we've been purposefully dumbed down, and our timeline has been changed. That's all so we don't form the Rebel Alliance that we're supposed to form. Our human population is about to be called, and we're not even aware of the signs. Not because we don't believe, but because we've been denied the information and dumbed down. We must be more awake than we are if we're to form this Rebel Alliance and save the human race. My God, we have less than 6 years. I have created an Excel spreadsheet which shows you an approximation of the day that this will occur, and it happens in the year 2023, not 2030. For the call begins at 8 billion. According to simple calculations, this is when we reach that number. And if we don't have the Rebel Alliance well established by then, the end of the human race as we know it, it will be lost for all time. See, the souls which we carry for the good force, we identify often as the Supreme or the One God. And all at once, like a reverse Big Bang, the dark side wants to short circuit that good force by overwhelming that force with 7.5 billion souls, hitting it like an electrical surge overload. In that brief split second of weakness, that's when Darth Lucifer is counting on a distraction, or any edge, with which he can gain full reign and destroy the Jedi Kingdom of Good for the next billion years. You should plan on checking in each day so you can see this spreadsheet update and change and review it for your own purposes. But you can see the data sometime around 2023. This will start you on your journey to find the others. Find them. Trust in the Force and tell them this information so that they and you may start the Jedi Rebel Alliance. This is how it starts in this timeline, but only if you help spread the word. I love you and good luck. High Priestess Dama.